What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It is Matty P and Marky D here for another episode of Mad Monday. It will be some mad headlines coming out of training camp, no doubt. Now, Marky D, you and I are doing this recording on our Monday. Comes out US's Monday. You and I woke up to the news about 6-7 hours ago. Monty Potterbaum retires.
Yeah.
It's not really what we're going to talk about on today's show, but I thought I'd just cover it off because that is a Mad Monday. That is a Mad Monday piece of news to hear. What the hell?
It's odd. I kind of don't want to say too much just right now because I don't know the situation. I don't want to say, whatever's going on, but it's kind of odd. Let's put it that way. Because
it doesn't sound like it's his own choice, does it?
No, 24 years old, and I didn't see anything. No, I didn't see any footage in camp. All I know is that he's got a mullet, and next minute they say he's on retired injury list or he's retired, right? He's done.
Yeah,
so I have no idea. There has to be something going on. I kind of want to find out the story because I want to wish him well. I think it's way too young to retire, but I really don't want to judge too much, to be honest, because I don't know. It could be anything. Anything could happen to him.
Yeah, I must admit, you wonder if it's something nefarious. You wonder whether it's just injury stuff. You wonder if he's going, well, I can't compete with Connor Hayward, but even then you wouldn't retire. You'd ask to be released. I don't know. There's more to this story that we're going to find out. There's more to this story.
He might not even like football or anything like that. There is one thing I got out of this, though, right? Because I saw this rumor around that they're going to bring back Derek Watt. And I was like, okay, my theory is, I know your face like that. So my theory is, if you bring back Derek Watt, that means you thought that Potterbaum was going to make the roster. And I don't think he was going to make the roster.
Which is interesting narrative, because then that says, how were they going to use Connor Hayward exactly like last year, or were they going to still try and expand on things more?
So some people have to say, "I'll bring back Derek Watt because we need a fullback." Well, was Potterbaum Pot going to make it? No, he wasn't going to make it. Sorry, Pot. You know, he wasn't going to make it. Therefore, why would you bring back Derek Watt? You have I think they're fine. They're fine. It is odd though. It's like, oh, he retired. What the hell?
Yeah, and your mate Hakeem Butler took that awesome catch as well, so everyone's pretty fired up about that. Did you see that one?
I think he might have a chance to make it, dude.
Over Boykin, I think he and Boykin are going hard at this. I talked about this with Shannon White when you were having your little break. Those two are going hard at probably the 6th wide receiver spot. Anyway, want to crack into today's show. One of the fans commented, we've had a lot of video. We started to ramp things up again. Promise you guys some more rooms. We did that with Highsmith. We got out of one yesterday about Quan Alexander. But we had one of the listeners comment on one of our videos in the last 3 days, and they said, look, Hugo Mark must be really fired up for the season. Well, it is a comment, but it's an awesome comment, and it's so true. And Marky D's, I think, outwardly more fired up than I am on the inside, but I'm on the inside, and sometimes I struggle to articulate that, even though we've got a YouTube shows. But I thought 3 reasons why Steel fans should be fired up now from 2 crazy fans on the other freaking side of the world that regularly talk Steelers with you guys out there a week. I think Mark does like 15 videos a week. We do.
I'm on it.
We're going to get into our season schedule. The first season we've done, TDU. So you're looking at 5 to 7 videos a week from us. So like a lot of content, a lot of hours a week talking Steelers, a lot of stuff we do off air talking Steelers. 3 reasons why I fired up Marky D. Reason number 1 for you, it doesn't have to be ranked in priority order, but if I ask you one reason why I fired up, what is it?
It has to be Kenny Pickett. To be bluntly, it has to be Kenny Pickett, second year Kenny Pickett. If you're not fired up for Kenny Pickett, I don't know why you're even why are you watching? You know what I mean? They're gonna say, the Steelers are gonna lose. They're going to 8-9. Tomlin's doing this. Tomlin's playoffs. What about It's Kenny effing Pickett. Kenny Pickett is the second year player. He's a young player. He's 25 years old. He's good to go, and I don't care if he fails or whatnot, but get on the hype train right now for Kenny Pickett and just watch that train go as fast as it can because it's going in the right direction. You got to be hyped around Kenny Pickett. Oh, but I want to see Kenny Pickett develop, and in 4 years' time we can judge him. Nah, stuff that. Just get on the train now. It's Kenny Pickett, mate. It honestly is.
Like another comment on one of the shows. We had another comment on one of the shows where someone said, "Oh, you need him to have a full season," and I don't dispute that. We didn't need to see him perform a full season. Man, I'm excited. The dimes he's dropping. Every morning I wake up right now, you opened Instagram up, and there's another video someone's got some dime. He threw a ball there, like one of the ones I woke up to this morning to Pickens was like a 40-yard dime.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a good one.
Everyone sits there and questions his arm and he drops the 40-yard dime. I'm like, well, duh. Like,
it was fantastic to the sideline. He also did one to our mate Yuli sent me a video and I put it on Still Oz. It was a pass to Connor Hayward at the sideline. There was DJ got broken up by JPJ, but Kenny Pickett is checked in. And I just don't want to hear the excuses. Oh, okay, I just want to wait and see until his 5th or 4th year if he's going to be our quarterback, the franchise. Stuff that. Just jump on the train now. Support our quarterback. That's my quarterback. You know what I mean? When Terrell Owens said that, that's our quarterback. Get hyped around Kenny Pickett. Support him in the stadium. Support him on Instagram, social media, whatever. And he's going to play better for us just by the support. And he's got a really good opportunity right now to go and win games and have the great defense that we just signed Quan Alexander. He's going to help in the mix too. So get hyped around Kenny Pickett. I'm sick of this stuff. We're like, oh, we've got to wait and wait and wait and wait. You start waiting and you realize Cameron Hayward's retiring soon. Then you go, damn. So get on it right now. Get hyped around Kenny Pickett. That's probably the first one.
One other thing I'll say to you on that before I do my reason. We all talk about how important Patrick Peterson is for the defense. How important is Patrick Peterson for Kenny Pickett, right? And Patrick Peterson has talked about how he's enjoyed going against Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is benefiting from Patrick Peterson. Like, we all talk about the defense getting better. The defense gets better. This offense gets better because this offense has to play against the best defense in the NFL. I mean, we're already hearing from training. Mike Prisuta was talking about this with Wolf. Like, the defensive guys are getting into the backfield all the time. Now, I don't love that when you think about the offensive line, but what I do love is hearing is they're on point, they're ready to go, because the more they can trouble opposition quarterbacks, the less Kenny Pickett has to do. So that's kind of cool. All right, my reason why I'm fired up is that the guys that played well last year have not rested on their laurels and they've come back stronger. So Pickett, like you said, Pickens is showing us all the same crap that I was going to say shit that he showed us last year, but the good shit, but the stuff like smacking JPJ. Good. I want to see a veteran wide receiver smack the crap out of a cornerback that thinks that he's a tough guy. I want to see that. People like, I don't know. I don't want to see fights like the Browns.
Did you hear what Tomlin said about that too? Tomlin said he put you on your ass.
Yeah.
To JPJ. It was offensive pass interference for sure, but it's training.
I don't care. It's a mentality thing. I love it, right? I don't care. People are going to crank at me at this. As long as it's not like a game-defining play, if that in an AFC North battle helps you get a mental edge and it's committing a penalty, I'm like, do it, man. Like, I'm one of those people. I don't care. Like,
teams do that to set the standard. There used to be with Hines Ward, cracking guys over the middle, or even like Ryan Clark cracking guys over the middle, right? It would set this next minute. They wouldn't do that play. They wouldn't
set the tone. Set the tone.
Yes, set the tone, right? So, who are the other players on your hype list or on that part?
Yeah, so Dan Moore Jr. comes back and Kevin Johnson comes back. They get bigger. They get ready to go. They're willing to compete. They're not resting on their laurels, right? I love that. Jalen Warren's come back. I know you're really high on him, but Najee comes back. He's apparently been putting in the work as usual. Love that. Like, Levi Wallace is checked in. I don't think I'd realized how much he sounds like Michael Jackson when he talks, but he had one of the post-practice interviews with the Steelers, like shows that they have on the website right now and on their YouTube channel. And he had an interview for like 10 minutes. He was talking about all the things they used to do and how he knows Minka from the Alabama days, which we talked about earlier in the offseason. He looks like he's come back and he's locked in as well. He's not sitting here going, oh, I might lose my spot to Trice and to JPJ. He's locked in as well. Kazee's back. Kazee re-signed with the Steelers for not a lot of money. Keanu Neal's loving his job apparently. Like, I'm loving that. And Allen Robinson, he's looking like a completely different player than what he did at LA Rams. So reason number one for me is just like, these guys that did well last year or guys that have something to prove and they're back and they're looking good and they're there mentally, but they're also there on the field. We talked a lot about mentality and character about this team, but I like what they're doing on the field. And I know it's early days. I know it's training camp, but I'm seeing enough to, I don't know about you, Mark. I'm going to ask you this question before we get into reason number two. I feel like what we're seeing at camp in week 1 is usually what you feel like in week 2 or week 3, except we haven't seen the games yet. Do you know what I mean? Like they feel like they feel like they're ahead of progress.
They're pretty pumped up, and I think they're all buying into what is happening, and that's what I mean. Like, it is that new kind of era, and just I don't want to give too many things away on my next hype up point, but.
Go for it. Lead into your next.
All right.
Go number two.
Are we not hyped about Omar Khan, what he did this season? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained what Omar Khan did this season?
I need another signing. I think that's a problem with Steelers fans. It's like becoming an addiction. Like, you need another hit. Like, we got Quan Alexander. Who are we getting next?
Are we not entertained that Omar Khan had a really good off-season, bringing players in, great draft, and he's just buying into the organization? Does that not fire you up to say, wow, it's different? To me, it does.
100%.
Like the bloke did everything. He did everything he can to address all the issues. And the last issue that fans were complaining about was middle linebacker. What just happened? They went and got a middle linebacker. They got more names than they could even.
Well, you
have
know,
on the
talked
roster.
on the weekend. The one gap we said that existed on the defense was maybe a backup strong safety, maybe, but really it was a coverage linebacker. I did the show that people can go listen to. We linked to this show on Quan Alexander. His coverage skills are really, really good. In fact, you know, last year, I said this on the show for those that missed it, 20% of his snaps last year were played at slot.
Really?
Yeah. Most people, you're not hearing that on any other Steelers media, right? I went in and I looked at where he lined up on the snap counts. PFF, 126 snaps in the slot last year from 558 snaps.
Mate, it's another move that Steelers are making, and it's looks like a good move. A lot of veterans too. A lot of veterans coming into this team.
He also fits into the 4-3 narrative too. Just Quan Alexander can play in a 4-3, so I'm just saying that.
But do you think it's like it's different that from, you know, I love Kevin Colbert did what he did, right? But it's just a new,
different.
fresh.
You know, I was getting tired of Colbert. From all the talk we did off air, you know that I'm a bit like.
But there was no big moves, nothing. All these moves all made sense. So they got the tight end, they got the tackle Jones for bigger bodies up front. They signed, I was like, Marlowe, another veteran.
I think the difference
so many dudes
is Omar Khan's got the sensibility and conservatism of Colbert, but where it's different is like he's willing to bet big in the risk that it plays. Not like crazy betting big, but like move up 3 spots to get a tackle, right? 2 tackles are already off the board, the top 3. Makes sense. Move back in the draft, look at players who are slipping. They obviously had some guys on their draft board. Makes sense, right? Don't trade away. Like he had to trade back. How much did we talk about this during the draft process? He had to trade back in round 3 because he didn't trade back in round 2. They had to pick up an extra draft pick or 2 in this draft to fill the needs. He chose not to trade 32, get JPJ. Chose not to trade back, and I think it was smart. They needed a good guy on the interior defensive line. So then he was forced to trade back in round 3 or 4. Like that's just what it was. And so that's what I really liked, from Omar Khan there. So I back you up on that. All right. Second reason, I feel like Tomlin's locked in more than he has been in a long time.
Yep.
And I know that sounds weird for people to say, and I know there's a fire Tomlin crown up there. I completely disagree with you. I'm not going to have an argument with you anymore.
Nope.
I saw him introduce Aaron Smith the other day before practice.
Yeah. Did you see the handshake?
Talk to the fans. He knows. He talked a lot last year about the challenges of playing with a rookie quarterback. He played it like low key with Pickett, didn't let it get too big for Pickett, kept it, didn't try to overwhelm Pickett. And the whole Kenny effing Pickett on the sideline thing that I think I talk about this every second show. I think Tomlin sat there and went, holy shit, like I got another one. You know what I mean? Like, not only did I come in the franchise as Ben, I got another one. And he's a baller, he's a gamer. And the defense, the fired up that is, like, I think it's super locked in. They had an interview with Holcomb before the game the other day, before the training started. And they said, what's it like being coached by Tomlin? Like, is he already giving you stuff? He's like, well, I'm liking getting the reps. I want more reps. I really love football. I miss football. It's been a long time. I miss football. I just appreciate it to be part of the team with Mike Tomlin. Like, that's our locked in number 1 inside linebacker who's actually playing terrifically well at camp. Like, he's covering guys. People question his speed. He's covering lots of guys. But yeah, I feel like Tomlin's locked in. I feel like Tomlin knows that this is a double-digit win team if they do the right things. And they proved last year that even when you hit rock bottom, this freaking team can turn up and do better. We talked about this in one of our other, I don't know whether it was our show on the weekend or whether it was before or after the show, but I think it was during the show where I said to you, this team have been through the adversity and now they're reaping the rewards for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're ready to go. If they go, if they're 0-4 to start the season, this team knows they can come back and try and scrape in the playoffs. Now we don't want that, right? I think we'll be 2-0 to start the season. But I do. If they are, Steeler fans can't throw their bath out the bathwater out of the bath, because I do think Tomlin's checked in and I think he knows how to win with this team. So yeah, my reason number 2 is Tomlin.
But that also goes back to with the Omar Khan thing too. Omar Khan set everything up the beautiful way, and they've had conversations. They're all in Andy White, all these guys, and now Tomlin's like, wow, he knows what's. That's why I always go back to the confidence of those two together. and like the mateship that Omar Khan and Tomlin has in press conferences, you see their overall confidence is flowing out. They just know what is happening with this team. And I agree with you. I think Tomlin, there are other people out there, but just disregard that for a minute. Tomlin is pretty checked in. The players love him. The veteran guys, even Quan Alexander's like, I want to play for Tomlin, and the players are buying into Tomlin. But I agree with you 100%. I think it feels different. It does feel different. So, you know what? I'm going to go on a bit of a different route for this one. Reason number 3 why you should be hyped.
You're fired up because Joe Burrow's injured. I'm just joking.
Actually, that's the reason why we should be hyped, because they exist. They've never won a Super Bowl. Let's be real. And any fan out there, any Bengals fan says your team sucks, just look behind every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I get tired counting. The reason I think that the third reason is look at the schedule. We came third last year in the AFC North. The schedule's easier. Let's be honest, it's easier. It's much easier than last year.
And it's funny to say this because I forgot who I was listening to. It was an ESPN show someone had put up on YouTube the other week. And they talked about, Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. I think the AFC North could be the division that has 3 or 4 teams in the playoffs because Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. He won't finish 4th. And I was yelling at the YouTube channel playing on my iPad. I'm like, no, he won't finish 4th because he's never finished 4th.
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin doesn't finish 4th. Don't say it's because he never had a losing season. He does not finish 4th.
But the schedule's easier though. We're facing 2 rookie quarterbacks. I can't remember which one is which. Is it Bryce? Who's the Houston's Texan one? Bryce Young?
Yes.
Is that the other guy? Yeah, I think
no, they got CJ Stroud.
I always forget because I didn't really care.
Well, I think he's actually better than Bryce Young. But we've got our record prediction show coming week before preseason. That's when we do our record prediction.
I think I've got a really good set of ideas. Like, that's going to be different to my other one now. But schedule's easier this year. We can go hammer and tongs with the AFC North. We can beat the Bengals twice or split. We can beat the Ravens twice. We can beat the Browns twice. Can beat the Raiders. I'm not scared of Jimmy G down that way. They're having problems with some things out there. I'm not really scared of some of these teams. No teams like last year, like the Bills or the Philadelphia Eagles, are like, okay, it's going to be a real hard game. Every game they're going to be in. They're going to be 5-star matchup because we're in it. That's why I think it's hyped up because it's easier. And also people talk about this when you do have a bad season, you get an easier draw. Then it's kind of because the Bengals are playing the Chiefs or Bengals are playing the harder teams, right? We don't have to play them until the playoffs. If we make it, or when we make it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you agree? It's like
I used to buy into the schedule argument, and in the last few years, with the way injuries work, you don't fully know. But I do agree with you, and I think this schedule is a lot more friendly to the team than last year's schedule was. So even if it's not just the team, it's like what week and who you're playing in what week. And I think the thing I like about this team too is that this team will start the season, no matter who they played, off pretty conservatively, run the football, slowly open up the playbook. Well, the first 4 weeks, we're versing run teams, right? We got McCaffrey, even though he can do in the short passing game. You then go play Nick Chubb. You then go play Josh Jacobs. Who's week 4? Is week 4 the Texans?
If he's there, I think he's holding out a contract, though.
Yeah. Well, he can't have the signing. I think he wants more money after buyout. Okay. But who's week 4? Is week 4 the Texans?
Texans, yep.
Damon Pierce, right? So we're going to be focused on running the game. The more we can run the ball, the less time they can run the ball. So I see those games as you just get up a score or 2, you can win those games. Like, they're locked in. So as long as you can get up that score or 2 and hold it and run the football well and play good defense scores. But I like the philosophy that is you don't have to ask everything from Pickett straight out the gate, which is really good as he adjusts to second year with Robinson in the mix and Pickens and Deontay and Darnell Washington. I think Darnell Washington's going to have a field day. We're going to see more of him in those first 4 games than we've seen out of a rookie tight end in even probably since Freemuth's rookie year, maybe. I see me in on-field play. Freemuth had a very productive rookie year. All right. Reason number 3. It seems an obvious one, but I'll tell you why. We talked about the mental reps the other day. Minka, right?
Minka. Ooh, that's a good one. You're hyped for Minka, right?
I think Minka. So Minka didn't love it in Miami, right? Nope. Came over here, proved himself on the field, right?
On the first quiet. Day.
but very
First game.
quiet guy. Very quiet. Yeah, exactly. First game. Very quiet guy. Signs the new deal. And since then, we've seen this leadership. And he did an interview, and not in the last season, end of the season before that, his eggs interview talked about how he was working with Terrell Austin and getting things under play. And he was able to have a say over the defense. Then this year, he did what he did last year. Quietly was it 5 or 6 interceptions? I think it was 6 interceptions last year. Top 5 for tackles again for the Steelers, but didn't have to come down as much as he had come down the year before. You're hearing he's more vocal. He then does the mental reps where he sits behind and is orchestrating the play back there on the defensive side of first to open training camp. The idea that you're hearing of a vocal Minka says a lot for this team because one, it doesn't just mean he's comfortable. It means that he's, I wouldn't say he's becoming relaxed to the point of not caring or casual, but he's relaxing because he's in his zone. And I think he's going to have a year that he's going to make plays this year that it's not going to be exactly what Troy did, but I think he's going to have a Troy light effect on the field, if that makes sense. I just think Nick is primed for a campaign that maybe halfway through the season we're sitting there going, could Minka be the quiet candidate for Defensive Player of the Year? I just think he's gearing up.
Do you know how old he is?
He's only 26.
26.
Yeah.
How many more years do we have him for the contract? 3 years?
He did the restructure. He signed the 5-year deal last time, so I think there's another 4. I think we got him till his 30, just before his 31st birthday, I think.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because he's the best safety in the game right now.
Best free safety. There's some good strong safeties out there. So, like Derwin James, they do different things. I think he's the best all-round safety in the game. I wouldn't put him if you're only playing strong safety. I do think Derwin James is pretty good there. But he's the best free safety / overall versatile safety in the game. Yeah.
But he's making it his team, though. Like it's now Minka and the Steelers. It's like Minka and who drafted him? I can't remember who drafted him. It's the Steelers. It's his team.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's why I think if the Steelers are having problems for whatever reason or an injury or something in the first 3 or 4 weeks, I think Omar Khan will wheel and deal next year's draft picks. Like, I think they're so locked in for this season. It's not funny.
He had 6 interceptions last year.
Yeah, I was right. So I was right on the 6 interceptions.
That's crazy.
What's he had career? Like 23 or something?
19 in his career. Fumbles, recovery, 5. He's never forced a fumble. That can't be right, is it?
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah. He's had a few fumble recoveries. Yeah.
He's had 5 of those, and he's never had a sack, but that makes sense.
How many pass defenses has he had? Like 40?
47.
There you go. Yeah.
All over the shop. One of his best years.
He does a lot of tips. There's a lot of people that get interceptions when Minka's close by. That's all.
Yeah, his year last year was one of his best years. 11 pass deflections, 1 TD that was against Burrow in week 1, 6 interceptions, and then combined tackles 96. So his tackles went down like 34 tackles from the previous year, which was a lot. He did a lot of tackling because Devin Bush was like, "Hey mate, come through," and cleaned up. So I like that one. I think it's hyped to be around one player. And
cool.
Like we said, we got Kenny Pickett that I'm hyped about and Minka together, organizing the team together.
Captains of the offense and the defense.
Is Minka going to be a captain, you think? Was he captain last year? I can't remember. It's Cameron Hayward.
Depends whether they do the green dot. If they do the green dot, then it's got to be Holcomb and Hayward. So,
do you think Holcomb will be a captain?
Don't they? I thought they usually, apart from Vince, who I think was co-captain.
Because Cameron Hayward's going to be a captain somehow.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's going to be a captain. Killebrew is going to be probably a captain, I think.
Yeah.
Although some teams have like 8 captains, I've seen in previous years. So
it depends on who's going to be on the field and stuff. If Hayward's off the field, Minka's the captain.
Right.
I just think it should be like some of the other sports. You have a captain and a vice captain, and
just make it captain counts, and we're sweet. That's all we need. Number 46. Number 46 in your hearts and counts on the field. I think.
That's it. Good old Christian.
I didn't even bring him up the whole show. That's the disrespect, isn't it?
Anything else you want to close out before we wrap up the Fire Up show?
No, I mean, I just think we should be keen overall and just buy into your team. I know you want to be something we can be, critique the team and stuff like that, but just buy into the team, I'd say.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I couldn't put it better for myself. I think Steeler fans, there's nothing negative that goes on right now. If they cut a player, if a Monty Potterbaum retires, it's not negative. This is the team working through what they've got to walk through to come out the other side and be successful. And if you're not on this train, it's a waste of time. Exactly.
Just start watching the TV, mate, and get pumped up. Crack a beer and chill out and just watch the game.
It's
not hard.
I just need that. I know that we talked about the how hyped you were, and I was like, yeah, but I want to see a preseason game. I do really want to see a preseason game.
Mate, we're versus the Bucks. It's gonna be heaps fun.
I'm a bit sick of watching preseason drills.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing all the time. It's the pass rush kind of gets there, and then they get a half a sack, and they give up. But it's like, I don't know. You want to see actual game. When we see a real game,
I think they're gonna destroy the Bucks. I think it's gonna be bad news.
We've got 3 quarterbacks of all starting experience, except Tanner Morgan. But Kenny, Mitch, and Rudolph. We should win that game. Really, realistically, we should win that game. If you do,
I got a good. Don't sleep on their defense though. Their defense isn't bad. So.
But there's no Tampa Bay. Not it's preseason, but there's no Tampa Bay. But I think, look, we're going to see players actually want to hit other people. And with your guy, you said about GP was hitting JPJ. Fantastic. It's great.
Well, that's the thing. If you haven't listened to the Quan Alexander video we did, because you've seen enough on Quan Alexander, totally get it. But I did some comparisons to stats over the last few years. I'm very hyped with Landon Roberts. If you heard a lot about Quan Alexander and you didn't watch the show, go back and watch it just to hear about Landon Roberts, because he's had a very good last 4 years.
He called out Najee. He called out Najee this week. He told Najee to pick his effing head up.
I love it. Good.
Najee ran a 2-yard route, and then one of them, Michael Boley, overheard him say, "Pick your effing head up." So basically, didn't get the yards. So he's coming in talking the smack, and you gotta love that. Yeah, gotta love that.
Well, it's nothing more replace, Vince Williams is because he's a killer bee. But you gotta love that attitude. Anyway, with that, we will wrap up this week's Mad Monday. I hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to more content coming from us. Get fired up. There's no reason not to be.
None at all. Go Steelers. Here we go.